Isla Al-Jawri, Raymond Moses Bernard.
The slow litany of 72 names read out in remembrance at a service in Westminster Abbey today, 5 years on from the Grenfell fire. But while the grief never fades, justice still remains out of reach.
You know, it's important to remember the 72 souls that aren't here with us anymore, and I want to remember the 18 children as well that didn't make it. For me, the focus on the 18 children is very close to my heart because of my son.
Marcio Gomez's son Logan was one of the 72. He was stillborn while Marcio's wife lay in a coma after the couple escaped with their 2 daughters as the tower burned.
Do you replay that night, or does it?
Every day, every day. Yeah, it's impossible to get rid of those thoughts. Even now, I still get emotional. It's just, you know, it's been 5 years, but you've not really had any time or closure.
Marcio lived on the 21st floor. As the fire raged, they called the fire service 3 times and were told help was on its way. By the time he called for the 4th time, around 3:25 a.m, flames and thick black smoke were now inside the flat, and it was clear help was not on the way.
There's no stopping now, girls. Just go.
Right, you've just got to go. Stay with me on the phone, okay?
Right, hold hands and go.
Right.
Right, let's go, girls. We have to go. Go.
He led his family and some neighbours on a desperate, blind attempt to get down the stairs.
What I was struck by in your evidence was how much you wanted people to understand this is what it was like, to know that I was struggling with life and death that night, and so many others were.
Yeah, that was extremely important to me. It's really difficult to explain how difficult it was to breathe.
Just get your breath back. Okay? Just get your energy back and your breath back, and then I need to ask you a couple of questions.
You had to gag all the time. You try and breathe hot air, and all you feel is the burning in your throat, and you can't breathe, and you're climbing over bodies and stepping on bodies, which is it's the worst thing that you can do while trying to navigate the stairwell. Nobody was ever going to believe that's what I went through.
You managed to get your wife and your girls to safety. Is there any comfort at all in knowing what you did, though?
It's a difficult situation because, you know, I don't feel I completed it fully because we did have a loss.
In the days after the fire, the response on the ground was chaotic. The inquiry has heard how families had to fight for information about their loved ones and for the most basic support.
It's felt like we were on our own before, on the night, and even now, it still feels that we have to continuously battle.
Marcio says a lack of care from the authorities throughout the pained history of Grenfell was exposed even in evidence at the inquiry just a few weeks ago.
Could I respectfully remind you that you did promise that we would be away this morning, and I have changed my schedules to fit this in.
And then to come in with all the arrogance that I'm really busy, man. Everybody's busy.
I do have an extremely busy day meeting people, but this is more important than anything. But I would urge you to use your time wisely. I'm
busy working. Everybody's busy. So you're just coming in with that arrogance already didn't sit right with me. And the worst part is when they called our loved ones nameless.
To the nameless, I think it's 96 people who were killed in the Grenfell fire. It's them we should think about.
My son wasn't nameless. You know, he was 7 months, well, my wife was, at the time, was 7 months pregnant. He had a name already. Everybody had a name. So they're not nameless. I couldn't believe I was listening to what was meant to be a minister get these core details, core facts wrong. I mean, it just showed that you don't care.
Lord Pickles later apologised to the families. The inquiry into exactly what happened at Grenfell is due to finish later this year. Police have said only then can they properly begin a criminal investigation.
What does justice look like to you?
For me right now, isn't corporate manslaughter. You know, that's just a big fine, and that doesn't help anybody. If you've known that what you were doing, then I need to see you behind bars.
When you feel all alone in this world.
Today, though, Marcio wants to end on remembering life in Grenfell Tower when it was simply a beautiful, happy place to live.
It was this beautiful place. I loved living in the tower. I had young kids. My neighbours had young kids. They all played in the communal sort of area. It was a very, very friendly community within the tower itself. I want to hold on to all the people that I know from the tower that didn't make it out. My son's always going to be number one, of course. But my neighbours from 182, the Wahhabis, you know, they were very close. We can't change what happened to us. That's already happened. But we want to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else going forward.